Don't know how we got here, but we got love, yeah. Don't know how we got here, but we got love, yeah.
Welcome to Saving Us, where we discuss relationships in marriage, family, and beyond. Relationships are hard work and should be a priority. These discussions are here to help you navigate the waters of insecurity and frustration and hopefully guide you to a place of peaceful fulfillment in your own relationships. Welcome everybody to Season 3, Episode 3 of Saving Us. And we are Michael and Deetra Carter, and we are your hosts for this program. We have a great topic today talking about settling into marriage. So we've been on our love journey this month because February is the month of love. So that's been our topic. And we ask everybody who's listening to feel free to give us your comments and questions. I'll do my best to get back with you as soon as possible. How are you feeling today, Sir Michael?
Good.
Glad to hear it. I'm glad it's good to see you here. Good. I'm glad you're here. First of all, guys, we would like for you to subscribe, to like, to share the podcast with a friend, because we want to get the word out that we're here to serve you, serve the community, to answer questions. Okay? We have some guests, our first guest coming up in a couple of weeks. So we want you to make sure that you tune in on March the 21st, where we are going to talk about finances. Our guest just recently received his certification as a financial coach. So he's going to share some information that he's learned on March the 21st. So be sure to tune in for that episode.
Financial health and marriage, huh?
Financial health. Yeah.
A needed topic.
It is a needed topic. All right, we ready to get into our main topic today?
Yep.
All right. We're talking about growing up and settling into marriage. So let's review. So our first episode talked about how we met, right? Our love journey.
Right. Love journey part 1.
Part 1, and then love journey part 2. So part 2 was the first 5 years of marriage.
Oh, okay.
Covered the first
I'm
5 years of
remember.
marriage. Right. That's what I was trying to remember too. And then part 3 is from 5 years on. So we're going to talk about some things we experienced and some things we might change, but also some things that worked well for us.
Right.
And that we think might be beneficial for other new families trying to build their family now. So first topic, the role the church has played in our relationship. Mm-hmm. Right? So what would you say was the significance or importance of the church in our family? So at 5 years, we had 4 kids, 2 part-time, 2 full-time kids, 2 parents.
You might have to explain that, people.
Lots of people know what that means.
Yeah.
We, Michael had 2 kids when we got married, so we didn't have them full time. They shared custody with his first wife, so we didn't have them all the time. So part time, and then we had the 2 that we had together full time.
Right.
Right.
We hadn't had our 3rd yet.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
The queen of the house wasn't born yet.
Right.
We love her dearly. She is the epitome of the youngest child, though.
Yeah.
You guys remember that show? There used to be a youngest child, and I don't remember the name of the show, but it wasn't people. They were like maybe puppets or something. And the youngest one used to say, "I'm the baby. You gotta love me." I don't remember the name of the show, but that's our youngest. "I'm the baby. You gotta love me." So, what do you think? What do you think about how the importance the church played in our marriage, family life during those early years, from after 5 years?
Yeah. Well, obviously it did play a huge role. We're now pastors, but we were both very involved in the church, before we were married. Mm-hmm. You were married to the church. You were there at the church all the time. Mm-hmm. And, I was very active. So, it just continued when we got married. But I think that the role the church played is what the church is supposed to do. I hesitated right there because I think when people hear what I'm going to say about this, I'm eager to hear what you would say. Mm-hmm. But they might think, I know people in church and they don't act like that, and I know they're hypocrites, or they would criticize the church because of people. The church is made up of people, but you could look at any group. You could look at men, women, black people, the Elks Club, football team. any group and find things that people do that are not consistent with the values of, the organization, even though the church is not an organization. So I'm saying all that to preface what I'm about to say, and that I think the church's role in our family life really helped us, because the church helped us to understand that it's all about relationship first, and everything else is second. Whatever else you do from work, it's like, well, we got to work because we got to pay the bills and all of that. That is true, but your relationship is most important. I mean, I think a lot of relationships don't make it because work or something else, money, paying bills, is more important than a relationship. Now, I know that probably sounds crazy because you have to pay bills.
Can't live on love.
You can't live on love. But but what's the point of paying all your bills if your relationship doesn't make it? The relationship has to be first. So I think the church, because Christianity, I'm not going to say the religion we're in because it's not a religion. Christianity, what we're a part of, is all based on relationship. Okay, when you see people and you say, well, that's not true because people don't act like that, or this person didn't preach that, this pastor, they're wrong. The Bible is right, they are wrong. It's based on relationship first, before do's and don'ts, before all of the stuff. You can't lie, you can't cheat, before any of those things, it's all about relationship. So I think the church helped us in terms of eventually, putting a foundation in us that, relationship, the family relationship is first before everything else. That's a role I think it played in our life.
Helping us to establish our family relationship.
Right. Yeah. I can only speak for me. I didn't always heed that, but I think that's the integral part that it played. It kept coming back to that. That the church was a reminder that it's all about relationship. Even the family is about relationship.
Okay.
Above anything else. So.
Okay. Very good. I think for me, being part of the church as a mom with young kids was exhausting.
Yeah.
I think we don't treat our young adult parents of young kids kindly as older, seasoned people in the church. Sometimes I think we forget how hard it is. Not everybody, but I think if you're in leadership, if you're a pastor and you see those young able bodies and you're excited for them to work in the church, we might have a tendency to ask too much of them.
Yeah, guilty of that.
Yeah.
you see a young couple.
You're like, you can do it. And, we forget that they're figuring out how to be married. They're figuring out how to raise kids. They're figuring out how to deal with tantrums or diapers or, hormones. If you just had a baby and, they're figuring out a lot of stuff, how to pay bills and work together financially and how to deal with in-laws and a lot of stuff. And then we put another thing on them in the church to say, do this, do that, do the other.
Right.
So I think that's just something to be aware of as people who do work in the church, not to ask more of them than they're able to give or make them feel guilty for not doing whatever we think they should be doing
Right.
in the church. Because I think sometimes if that happens, you get older and you get burned out. And then you find people just leaving the church, just like, I'm tired and I'm more relaxed. I have less anxiety,
Right.
if I'm not there. So I think with that relationship, I do think we need to emphasize that it is more about community and relationship, and we need to spread out whatever we feel like needs to be done a little more if we can, and what cannot be done just cannot be done,
Right.
and we don't need to worry about it. Just that's enough.
Yeah. All right.
So yeah,
That's good.
that's what I think. So at 5 years in, okay, you had started a new job. So when we first got married, Michael was always in communications, but worked for. Now, when we first got married, were you already working at IU?
When we got married,
Were you still?
yes. Yeah, I was working at
You were already working
IU.
at IU.
Yep.
Okay. So he switched from what do you call that? University setting, working to corporate,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
At that time. And so how was that change for you? Or was that a significant, did it make you feel different to be in the corporate industry?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are differences, I guess, in the educational institution and then the corporate, America. But more so, I wasn't making any money at all.
At IU, at the
IU,
university, yeah.
Yeah, just at that time, we weren't
Yeah.
making much money. We were making things,
We were making it work, is what we
making
were
it
doing.
work. You were getting it done. We ate every day. That was, a lot of times you hear kids talk about, with my mom, we didn't really have much, but she'd go in the kitchen and, put something together. We'd have something to eat. That was you.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were able to do that. So changing, it was a commute, changing from
That's true.
at IU going to AT&T.
Yeah.
But it was a much longer commute. But I did feel much better. I felt like I was a better provider. I know that's a little shallow, but I was, making much. I almost doubled my salary.
Oh yeah, it was very
so
significant.
Yeah. But not only that, I felt useful. I mean, I was good at it. And so in those ways, I guess that those, but I felt useful and good when I was at IU too.
Yeah.
I'm the type of person that is always present wherever I am. That's where I am.
Right.
If I'm
So if you did not have a family and you were single at IU, do you think you just would have stayed there, or do you think you would have pursued a different job?
Well, the way that it happened, I probably still would have gone to AT&T because I really didn't pursue that job. I was looking for a better job and more money because we needed more money. Trust me. So we were praying about that, obviously, and having faith for more money. But I didn't go out looking for that particular job.
Right.
And then every promotion after that, I never pursued it per se. So.
So I ask you that to give somebody else hope out there, just to know the Bible. Well, it's going to be churchy.
All right, it's
It's going to be
Church
churchy.
It's okay.
The Bible says that he who finds a wife finds a good thing and finds favor from the Lord. So if in your relationship you have pursued God in your marriage and you have found the person that you're supposed to be connected to, I'm talking to men out there, and you feel like you need to provide, and maybe you guys are struggling financially, just know that God has promised that you have favor from him because you have chosen to find a wife and to provide for a family. So the perfect job for you is out there. I'm not saying don't do anything and don't pursue it, but keep your eyes and your ears open to opportunity, but just know that God will provide, and he'll provide the job that will make you happy, that will provide your needs, and is in the perfect place where you need to be.
Yeah, and this is not part of your question there, but I will say this too. Since you're talking to guys, but I think this goes either way. One of the things that really helped me was that we, of course, like every other couple, whether you're Christian or not or whatever you are, we had, our problems and our disagreements and things we would do. I do this, you do things that way. But when it came to the job and providing, I never felt any pressure from you. Like, you need to get a better job. We don't have enough money. We need to buy some shoes. I never felt pressure in that way, like everything was my fault. Because a lot of times guys feel that way. Even if the wife doesn't say those words, just by saying, we don't have no money, the kids need some better shoes, and all that stuff builds up to, that's my fault. And I need to be making more money. Even though that's not what the wife would say. So my point to that is that I never felt that, which was a good thing. I put the pressure on myself to want to do better. But it helped our relationship, I think, because I never felt the pressure from you. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. Well, talk a little bit about how that job did come to you. How did you learn about it?
Yeah. Well, so I'll try to go as quick as I can on that part, because it's kind of all of that's a long story, that whole journey. But I was working there at IU, and we worked with AT&T. Okay, because I was in communications at IU, and so we had a meeting at the AT&T building about how AT&T was providing communications to the IU campus. Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, we were having meetings there at that building. There was a guy there who, he just took notice of me and said, "Hey, you should put in for a job here at AT&T." And I was thinking, no, I can't work for AT&T. I don't know that much, And he's like, "No, just try it. Just do it." So I found out I had to take a test called a TKT, and it was uber. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. Ultra, uber, exceeding abundantly, since we're doing a church channel. It was way technical. That it was stuff I never even thought about. Didn't go to school for it, nothing. I mean, a lot of it was electricity and just circuits. I mean, it was technical. So I had to so he said, "This is what I'll do." He said, "I'm going to give you these VHS tapes." They used to have these things a long time ago called VHS tapes before DVDs, and of this guy explaining it. And this guy, I took Saturday. I don't know how many Saturdays.
I remember you studying.
It was like every Saturday I would watch these VHS tapes, take notes, and it would be for hours and hours and hours. And I did it for probably 2 months until thought I was ready. And then I went and took the test, failed it the first time. But you could take it, I think, 30 days later. And then the second time, I went back and looked at all the tapes again. The second time, I passed it. And it would have been easy to give up, but I passed it. And as soon as I passed it, he hired me,
really?
Right away.
That was Kevin?
That was Kevin.
Oh, that's so nice. I never knew you failed that test the first time.
Yeah, I didn't tell anybody. You're the first person that I ever know except for Kevin.
I never knew that.
I failed it the first time. And then I was like, "See," and he was like, "Nope, you taking it again." He said, "You can take it every 30 days. You taking it again in 30 days. So I did, and I passed it. And then just real quick, so then you're talking about giving people hope. And then a year, I wasn't there a year. I was a technician, and I was a technician working with other techs. And 1 year into it, Kevin came back to me and said, "You ever thought about being a manager?" I was like, "No, I'm just thinking about getting this paycheck because I'm making twice as much as I made." And he said, "Yeah, you ought to think about that." So I was like, "Okay." So he then did mock interviews with me, the whole 9 yards, taught me how to do an interview for a manager.
Put you in Toastmasters?
Yeah, put me in Toastmasters, if you ever heard of that. That teaches you how to speak in front of people and all that.
Yeah.
And so 1 year into my new job, I became a manager over the people that I was just with, by the way. So anyway, and there was many more things, but I won't go into all that, how that happened.
Yeah, but yeah.
So, yeah.
So like you were saying, a lot of times the guys will put pressure on themselves that they, we need to provide, we need to make sure everybody's straight and all this kind of stuff. Just know that if your heart is in the right place and taking care of your family is in the right place, things will work out for you.
Right.
Just keep going.
That's
and
good.
if you fail the first time, try 30 days later.
There you go.
Do it again.
That's the takeaway.
Yep. Okay, so at 5 years, we talked about that. We had 2 kids. And then we had where we lived. So we lived in a little townhouse. I think it was kind of a nice townhouse. Yeah, it was 3 bedrooms. Yeah, it was 3 bedrooms because the big girl shared a room. And then when Michael David was born, me and Michael shared a room.
Okay.
Yep.
And
And
you
then our
remember
room.
more than me, so.
Yep. So it was 3 bedrooms. It was probably maybe like 1,100 square feet, something like that. It was kind of small. And what some would say maybe is low income housing. You think?
Some
it was
probably,
a co-op.
but I mean, it wasn't. Yeah, it was a
co-op.
co-op, but
So I don't
yeah,
really
but
know
I think
what that
people
means.
looked at it that way, even though it wasn't really.
Yeah.
But I think
It was income based
Yeah.
housing. So
yeah.
there you
so,
go.
Yeah.
But I found it to be a positive
Yeah, it was. It
experience.
really was.
I
Yeah.
mean, it was a stepping stone for us because where we were before then on Anna Lee
much
was
smaller. And,
was not the place.
yeah. Oh, yeah. There's much we don't even need to
That
go
was
into.
not
there.
the place. So it was a step up for us.
Yeah.
And okay, so what are some things you learned about raising a family that you would pass down to other new parents?
For me, I think that just real quick, I keep hitting this thing. So I think the biggest thing I learned was how important it is to create traditions, create your own family traditions, and some of those things that you, or even not even creating traditions, do things that others might call corny or that's not popular, like eating dinner together. I think I learned that how important that is. That sounds like, oh, that's not that big of a deal. But it's a huge deal. I think it's huge. And even if you're so busy, if mom and dad both work and the kids are in this and that, what's it you always say? You do what you want to do.
People do what they want to do.
You do what you want to do. You can make time. You can say, we're okay, 2 days a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're going to eat together, or Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or whatever.
Whatever your days are.
You can do it. Don't be a slave to your schedule or outside things when it comes to your family. You make the rules.
Yeah.
You say we're going to do it on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Everything else is outside of that. And, for example, sitting down to eat together, eat dinner together, doesn't have to be fancy. And it doesn't even take that long to eat.
Right.
It takes longer to cook. But once you're eating, you can eat in 15, 20 minutes and then talk for another 15 or 20 minutes. And those were real building blocks, I think, of our family.
I think so, too. Yeah. Even as our kids got older, we would sit for an hour or more just around the table after everybody was finished.
Even now.
Yeah.
When the kids come back home, we'll
just that time of building community in your own family, checking in, making sure everybody's all right, during that time, getting their thoughts on whatever's going on in the world now as they're older. But I think that's very important. And also outside of just eating dinner, but also having other activities that you might do. Like we did have a family night once a week when the kids were small.
Yeah.
So we would do something fun together as a family, even if it was just going to get ice cream or go to the park, when it was warm, or
we played Monopoly,
swimming or playing a board game, right? We always made time to do that kind of stuff. Right. And I think that's important too. It just builds that cohesion in the family and keeps everybody together.
Right.
So,
I agree. Yeah.
Very good. Very good. So I kind of touched on this earlier, that spend equal times. If you're in the church, if that's part of your family and part of your tradition, try to do as much in your community, or maybe with your extended family, your neighborhood, your friends, as you do in the church. So I'm saying, don't make the church your life. Just don't do it. You will get burned out.
Right.
Make sure you have fun outside of the church, and teach your kids how to have fun. What does it look like to have fun and be healthy and safe and do things that are positive and not negative, even away from the church, because I think a lot of times when we raise our kids in church, for those who are pleasers, don't know how to have fun outside the church. And those who are rebellious do all the stuff you don't want them to do
right.
outside of the church. Yeah. So you have to set up that template. Okay, this how do we have fun just being? We have to learn how to just be and not do all the time.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's good.
All right. So what are some things that did not work for our family? What have we learned? What do you think?
Yeah, I think there was a time, I think we were pretty good with this, but there was a period of time there where we did have the kids in a lot of things. And really, that it wasn't bad, but even just doing what we did, I think I learned that it's okay if they're not in everything. You don't have to have your children in every activity. I think it's good that you want your kids to experience things, to know. Like for me, okay, a man and a dad. I finally had a son, although that's probably a little, misogynistic, maybe. But when I had a son, I wanted him to try football, basketball, baseball, all kind of, I think he did soccer. I just wanted him to try. I didn't push him to play any of those sports, like this is what you're going to do so I can live vicariously through you. But I did want him to try everything. He tried football. It wasn't for him. And, but I think that's okay. Just do it. He was in Boy Scouts. Yeah. But I think one thing at a time. Don't have him in a whole bunch. It's not necessary to have him in a whole bunch of stuff, because then you become a slave to your schedule, and that's what your family is. Your family is now a schedule. Yeah. It's just one schedule where everybody's doing everything. Yeah. So I think it probably just goes back to what I said earlier. What worked for us. Also, there was a time, I think, that it also was a teaching tool, because there were times that we did have the kids in a lot of stuff.
And we had 3 kids too.
Right.
So
That makes a
that
difference.
adds to, because if each one is in something,
Yeah.
you know, that makes it busy.
Right. Yeah, that you just don't have to do that. So.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I think what I changed with raising our kids in comparison to how I was raised is kind of let up on some of the rules that some of us who are raised, and I by no means was raised real strict, as in the church tradition strict. I mean, I knew people who could not do anything.
Right.
Like, I mean, they couldn't do anything. So I could do a lot of things, but I think even giving the kids even more freedom than I felt like I had was important.
No.
Now, you know, the jury's still out. So hopefully that accomplished what I wanted it to,
Yeah.
but the jury's still out, so we'll see how that.
You mean on giving them freedom? Mm-hmm. That you gave them more freedom?
Yeah, yep. On things, certain things, you know, I felt like, oh, you don't do that, you're a bad person. Well, not really.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. You can be over the top.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right. So I tried not to be over the top. I probably was still with some things, but
Yeah.
I tried not to be.
Yeah, I think you did good.
Okay, how did you feel about switching cultures from your experience as growing up or as a young adult? So switching cultures, so like moving from city, urban area to small town area, and then
I
raising
loved
your kids in a different environment
Right.
than what you were raised.
Yeah.
How do you feel like that was helpful or not, or would you recommend that, or what do you think?
Yeah, both of us were raised in a city.
Yeah.
In a city.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't New York, but it was a city.
The city, yeah.
Yeah. And we moved to Bloomington, which is a town, and it is definitely a college town, and it is definitely a different culture than what we both grew up in.
Kind of an artsy, kind of
Yeah. Yeah.
kind of extreme cultures there.
Yeah.
Extreme liberal, extreme conservative.
Yeah, in the
kinda-
same city,
Yeah.
in the same town.
Yeah,
It's amazing how it's so far on either side. And well, if you're talking about that kind of culture, I want to be kind of careful when saying this, but
I understand.
well, I'm just gonna be honest on your podcast. I'm not a big fan of it. I would do things differently.
Okay.
Yeah, I would do it differently. I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree. But if you all don't know, I was trying to get out of that town for a long time. Finally made it. But but I think I would agree with that, because I think it's good to be around extended family. So if you move away by choice and you don't have the means to visit family often, I think your kids lose out on that, the extended family traditions, and just knowing the different personalities of aunts and uncles, grandparents, cousins,
Right.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think that's really important, because they will feel a sense of connection.
Right.
You know, when they do come together. So I think that's the biggest regret, I think, is that on neither side do they really have a connection
Yeah.
with extended family.
Right, a strong connection. They know them,
Yeah,
but but not a.
Not really. Like I grew up, my family was my friends. My aunties were my friends because you know they're close in age, and even before my other cousins moved away, they moved far away. We were friends, you
Right.
know. So
Yeah, same with me. Me and my cousins and everybody. We got together every Sunday after church. We got together. Well, my mom and my aunt, her sister, were twins, so identical twins. So every Sunday we got, and more than that, but at least every Sunday we were, all of us, all the kids, everybody, we were all together. So yeah, I think that if it's possible to do that,
Yeah. And I understand some people leave for what they feel like are legitimate reasons. You know, maybe your environment where you grew up in is not healthy, or you feel restricted, you know, confined, like you cannot express yourself or can't pursue the things you want to pursue. So you move away. But just do it with eyes wide open, and making it an educated decision, especially if you have children, that you have to weigh your pros and cons, you know, and then make the choice that you think is best for you. Because there's no perfect decision.
Yeah.
I mean, you're always going to do something and then look back on it and say, I'd have done that different. That's true with
Right,
anything.
anything, yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to do that.
But that's just our experience. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So, what have you learned about yourself in the last 15 plus years?
Have you learned anything about yourself?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
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 What have I learned about myself? I learned that I am a better dad than I thought I was. Yeah.
So early on, you didn't think you were a good dad?
Well, I don't know. I didn't think I was bad. I just thought I just wish everything was a regret. Like, I mean, everything like the next week. Like, dang, I should have done that different last week. Or I should have done that different, you know, last month. Or we should have, you know, like I thought everything was the wrong decision. You know, if I told the kids no, then later on I said, man, that should have been something I said yes to. And if I said yes, later on I thought, oh, man, that's, you know.
Always second guessing yourself.
Right, always second guessing myself as a dad. But I don't know, the kids seem to like me, so they love me, which I'm so happy about.
Yeah.
So I learned that I'm a better, that you don't, okay, so what did you learn about yourself? What I learned about myself is that I felt like I had to be something that I'm not. I learned that you can just be you as long as you're authentic, you know, even when you make mistakes and all of that, that if you're authentic with love, then that's what your kids appreciate more than, and I think you too. I learned that. I think you as well. I think there's a lot of things I felt like I should be performing in certain ways, and you appreciate authenticity and honesty more than.
Oh yeah,
you know,
more than doing. Yeah. Just being. And I think that's something I've learned in the last 15 plus years too. I've learned how to, and I'm still working on it, how to be authentic with everybody, including myself.
Right.
Just learning what I like and what I don't like, and how to express it without hurting people's feelings, or, you know, without
coming
being
across
short
harsh
or harsh. Yeah. Because I don't know, that's just something I struggle with. So I think I'm learning how to be authentically myself and accepting myself, but also changing things that need to be changed, recognizing when I'm wrong and things that need to be changed. So I think that's what it is.
All right, it is what it is.
Yeah.
That's good.
So that's our take on our settling into marriage journey.
Yeah.
So now we're going to move on to the last segment, our word of the day.
All
We
right.
come up with these fantastical $25 words that we don't usually use.
Right.
So mine is frontispice. Frontispice.
Is that an English word?
It is.
Oh, okay.
It is a noun.
Oh,
And it's a very simple thing. It's an illustration facing the title page of a book. So especially older books, I couldn't find any here. So you have your title page, like Running
Running
Blind.
Blind, yeah.
Some older books especially will have an illustration
on that side?
on this side.
Okay.
So the page facing the title page is called a frontispiece. Now, why does that have a special name? I have no idea. But that's what it is. I read it somewhere and I said, I wonder what that is.
Yeah, frontispiece.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Well, my word is Vesuvius.
Okay.
Yes, Vesuvius means, well, really it refers to Mount Vesuvius, which is a mountain in Italy that erupted, I think, in 2020 after centuries of being dormant. But it can be used as a verb, meaning, you know, something's about to blow up, you know, or like you could say that I have a Vesuvius temper, which I do not, or like when on the basketball team, the guy hit the last bucket to win the game, and this arena was Vesuvius. Yeah.
Very nice,
So,
Vesuvius.
there you go.
I like that word, Vesuvius. I do. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's our take. Oh, we didn't talk about our accountability.
Okay.
I forgot that.
Mostly on you. So
It is mostly on me. So we're talking about this health journey. Actually, well, my health journey I've been substituting.
Okay.
So
You've been doing no bread.
No bread, no
for
crackers.
how long now?
Since the first,
Like
January
really?
2nd.
Yeah, like
January
right
3rd, something like that.
So just say the first of the year. So it's 2 months because
Yeah.
this is the end of February
Yeah,
as we're
almost 2
filming
months.
this.
So yeah, by the time people see it, it'll be
Yeah,
2 months.
the end of February. So 60 days about.
Yeah.
No bread, no crackers.
Right.
And you still alive.
I'm
making-
still, yes, but that might be why I'm acting strange today. I don't know. He said before we start filming, you acting funny. I don't know. Maybe I need some bread.
Yeah,
Might make me act better. I don't know.
No. Don't give in to the bread. Don't give in. Just you can make it through. No, that's good.
So I'm doing good.
You don't have to put you in rehab or anything like that.
Yeah, I don't have the shakes or anything.
No, you're all
So
right.
I'm doing all right. I really don't even crave it, to be honest with you,
Really?
which is, I thought I would.
See, this is a
thought
good
I would.
lesson. I bet there are a lot of things like that you don't realize. If you can make it through that
Yeah,
initial part,
right. Yeah, then
Yeah.
you'll get over it
yeah.
and be all right. So now I just have to quit eating other stuff. No more substitute.
Yeah.
One day you're gonna see me. I'm gonna be half of myself. I'm gonna be this big.
I'm saying don't do
the other half.
that. I think you're good. No. We need something to hold on to.
There's a whole lot of person there.
Yeah, good.
My word.
My word.
Okay. All right. How are you doing on your health journey?
I'm doing good. I think. Yeah.
You say
It's just-
you think?
You know what I found out is that especially losing weight, it's to a healthy way. When you lose weight in a healthy way, it's never just you lose weight like that. It's always down, up, down like that, up, And so that was very frustrating over the last 4 or 5 months. But when I was able to settle into it, I feel better. I feel healthier because I'm going to the gym 4 days a week. I've been very consistent on that.
Good.
For the first time in my life, really, since the Army.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been consistent, And so that's a good thing. And I feel better.
Yeah.
I feel much better.
Yeah.
Even
So
if
that's how I feel too with
Yeah.
with eating the no bread, no crackers. I just feel better. That's
Yeah.
why I understand what you mean.
Yep, that's good. Enough sleep, eat right, do a little exercise. It don't have to be, you don't have to be the Rock, but
Right.
just get you a little exercise in.
And enjoy your life.
Enjoy. Yeah, there
Be
you go.
kind. Find something that you like. Be kind to people.
Yeah.
People will be kind to you. I was watching something. I know we're over. I know about people who live a long time, so live to be 100, and this whole group of senior citizens, they ate whatever they wanted to. Some of them smoked in their younger years, drank alcohol, they did whatever, but they had a lot of community. Always had friends, and did what they enjoyed. That was the common theme.
That's interesting.
Positive, optimistic people who had friends and enjoyed life, lived a long time.
Wow.
So do that.
Okay, that's very
Do
good.
that. Enjoy your life. All right. So that's our take on Saving Us. Thank you for watching us. And please remember to subscribe and what else? Share,
Yeah.
like,
Give us a
all
like.
of the things. Okay. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Don't know how we got here, but we got love, yeah. Don't know how we got here, but we got love, yeah. Sweet, sweet